And so with that being said, I know for a fact that there are more people that feel like we need to find a way forward than there are people that are, for some reason, picking a side. So if you're someone that's interested in joining the conversation, as soon as we get up to 8,000 likes, we will open up the panel. But I need you guys to do all the wonderful things. Again, go ahead and send your daily heart me, tap the screen, get the likes up to 8,000 likes, send the little pink heart puffs as soon as we get up to 8,000 likes. As soon as we get up to 8,000 likes, we will go ahead and open up the panel. But I need you guys to do all the wonderful things. Also, go ahead and share the live, guys. Let's get the shares up to 100 shares. Let's get the shares up, tap the screen, share the live, do all the wonderful things. And if you are someone that's interested in actually joining the conversation, if you are interested in the point of the conversation, which is what's next, then go ahead and get in the box, because again, we are all in this together. We are all in this together. As soon as we get up to 8,000 likes, I see there's a couple of people waiting in the queue. Again, as soon as we get up to 8,000 likes, I will let you in. Just hold tight for me just a moment. I'm going to keep resetting this daily gift goal to these little 1 cent goals. And if we can actually knock those out a couple of times, again, it will help push us out to the FYP. So I'm going to keep resetting the daily gift goal to these little 1 cent goals. And again, if you are interested in joining the conversation, I don't care who you voted for. I genuinely don't. It's not about who you voted for, because we're all in this together. So again, get in the box. Each and every person, get in the box. We will have that conversation. We will have that conversation. Hey, Kiara. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and let people in. As I let people in on the panel, please, please, please mute yourself. Please, please, please mute yourself. It's okay to deprive someone of future value. Ty, you're being weird. I think you're, for some reason, trying to have like an A-B debate. That's not what this is about. Read the room. Read the room. Absolutely read the room. Guys, if you are interested, welcome in Dean and Parker Raid. Welcome in Dean and Parker Raid. Oh, the box is flipping around. If you are someone that's interested in joining the panel, please, please, please go ahead and request up. We are talking to everyone. It does not matter if you voted for Donald Trump. It does not matter if you voted for Kamala Harris. The only thing that matters is that you are an American. And as an American, we are looking to speak to each and every person, because we have to have the conversation. We have to have the conversation as far as what does moving forward look like? What does moving forward look like? So if you are interested in actually joining the panel, go ahead and request up. And also, guys, keep tapping the screen. I'm going to reset this daily gift goal again. Going to just keep resetting it to these little small gift goals. And if you can actually keep knocking those out, it will help push us out to the FYP. Keep tapping the screen. Let's go ahead and get the likes up to 50,000 likes. Let's get the shares up to 100 shares. Again, it doesn't matter if you voted for Donald Trump. It doesn't matter if you voted for Kamala Harris. Heck, it doesn't even matter if you voted for Jill Stein. Yes, I know, I said it. Ugh. Jill Stein. We are talking to everyone, because again, guys, we are on this boat together. We are on this boat together. And the point is, we need to talk about what comes next. How do we move forward? And what we do as Americans. All right, as people start to load in, again, please, please, please mute yourself. Please, please, please mute yourself. And I'm going to go around the panel and we are going to do some introductions. Please mute yourself as you hit the panel. All right. So guys, again, keep tapping the screen, share the live, do all the wonderful things to let TikTok know that we're in the building. Again, if you have not sent your daily heart me, it's only 1 coin. It's only 1 coin, and it helps boost the live and push us out to the FYP. So please, please, please send your daily heart me. Send me your hearts. My heart goes out to you, but in a good way, not in a schnozzy way. Yeah, boy. All right, let's go around the panel for a quick introduction. Maddie, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. Maddie, did you see the protests this past weekend, and what were your thoughts?
My thoughts were I saw a lot of leftists protesting a person they didn't like, but the thing is, me and my side voted for exactly what he said he'd do. And I 1000% would never change my vote. And what's next for me is to watch him make America great again and do everything he said he'd do instead of lie about it and say and
Okay, well,
do
hold
what
hold
he
on hold on
says
one second, friend. It was just
pretty
a quick
much.
introduction. We're gonna go around the panel, but I promise you I'm gonna come back to
It
you
was pretty
first.
quick.
Well, yeah, just hold tight for me just a second. All right. Jillian, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
Wonderful, wonderful. Jillian, did you see the protests this past weekend and what were your thoughts?
I saw some of it. I'm so glad that there were so many that showed up. Unfortunately, we live in an area, it's small area, so there wasn't anything for us to go to.
Mhm.
Um, but I really appreciated Obama finally speaking out. So I'd love to
Mhm.
talk about that later too.
Okay. All right. We'll get into it. Perfect, perfect. Thank you. Let's see. Nate Dogg. Nate Dogg, how are you, my friend?
Good.
Good, good. Nate Dogg, did you see the protests this past weekend and what were your thoughts?
I did not.
Okay. Did you hear anything about them?
No, this is my first time.
Okay. Well, no worries. We'll get into it. Give me just a moment here. God's person, how are you, my friend? God's person, I'm gonna send you a request to come off mute.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes. Did you see the protests this past weekend and what were your thoughts?
Let me say good evening first.
Good
Good night.
evening.
Yes. I actually came up. I generally don't talk on panels very much, but I came up because I just love your show. I'm always listening in and gifting you,
Oh,
and
thank
I
you.
just want to encourage you to continue to do what you're doing, young man.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. Are you gonna hang out with us?
I can hang out for a little bit.
Awesome, because I really, really love to hear from you. All right, give me 1 second, okay?
Alrighty.
All right. Reppin, welcome back, friend.
Yo, what's up, Santana?
Okay, just another day, Reppin. Listen, Reppin, I'm not gonna ask you the same question because I know you were up here last night, but you didn't really get a chance to speak. I know how you feel about the protest, but what I will ask you is as someone that supports Donald Trump, that it general thoughts, do you think that an actual trade war with Russia is something that we should be pursuing?
With Russia?
I'm
We don't
sorry,
trade with
with
Russia.
not well, we do trade with Russia. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, there's a lot going on with China. China, that's what I meant.
Oh, they don't want it. They ain't ready. Come on, dog. This is
Did you
America.
see that 104% tariff that Trump put on
Uh,
China though?
we ain't worried about nothing. Come on, you know this, bro.
All right, repping. All right, hold tight for me just a moment. Ria, how are you, friend?
Hey Santana, I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. Ria, did you see the protest this past weekend and what were your thoughts?
Yes, unfortunately, I was traveling that day, so I didn't see them in person, but I saw so many videos about it. I reposted a lot of them, and I was so proud to see that there were such big protests in all 50 states. Made me feel hopeful about our country again.
Absolutely, absolutely. Perfect, perfect. Give me one moment here. And last but not least, Madam Lightning. May I call you Madam?
You most certainly can.
Wonderful, wonderful. Madam, did you see the protest this past weekend and what were your thoughts?
I did actually. And I live in a really red state,
Hmm.
Mississippi. And even in Mississippi, a lot of people showed up and showed out. I actually did a video on some of this stuff myself. I wasn't there because I had to work, but I was really glad to see the turnout. And the whole world showed up. So I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. That was interesting. I've been getting a lot of feedback for sure about that. All right, give me 1 second here. Let's see. Quick question for Nate Dogg. Nate Dogg, question for you, friend. Um, are you
Yeah.
Canadian?
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and drop you down. I appreciate you coming up, friend. We are looking for just
Can I
people
ask you?
who, oh, I'm sorry, I missed it before I dropped you. I apologize. Yeah, listen, again, no offense, but the conversation tonight is centered around the United States and, moving the country forward. And I definitely want to hear from people that will actually be directly affected by pushing the country forward. All right, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started here. Just a couple of quick things for people on the panel before we get started, guys. There we go. Fucking weirdo. All right, I'm gonna hit a restart.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bubba.
YouTube, I know you're still here. Twitch, still here. We had to hit a restart. People are weird. We had to hit a restart. People are weird. That's exactly what happened. Yeah. We had to hit a restart because people are weird. But with that being said, YouTube, hello. Hello, YouTube. Guys, as we get back in on TikTok, let's go ahead and get the likes. We got to get the likes back up to 8,000 likes before we can open up the panel again. If you're in the box, hold tight. I'll get you back in here. Hold tight just a moment. I will get you back. I will absolutely get you back. In the meantime, in between time, guys, massive W's in the chat for Godzilla, who sent a $1.99 YouTube super chat to say Santana speaks. W's in the chat for Godzilla. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Guys, as we get back in, we have to get the lights back up in order to actually open back up the panel. I apologize about that. We had to do a restart. So if you would, please tap the screen. Go ahead and get the lights up to 8,000 likes. If you were already on the panel, go ahead and request back up and we will get you back onto the panel. If you are someone that is interested in having this conversation, if you're interested in having this conversation, if you are someone that is absolutely interested in giving your opinion about what happens next, go ahead and request up. We are talking to everyone. It does not matter. It does not matter about who you voted for, right? We're not having the conversation about who you voted for. Like I understand that it's about America. It's about us. It's about having an understanding as far as who we are and what we need to do. There we go. That's what I was looking for. All right. That should have fixed it, right? Did that not fix it? That didn't fix it. Ugh. All right, guys, I'm trying to fix the fact that I look translucent. Keep tapping the screen. As soon as we get up to 8,000 likes, we will open up the panel again. As soon as we get up to 8,000 likes, we will open up the panel. If you're someone that was already in or on the panel, please go ahead and request back up. I will get you right back in. If you're someone that was already a part of the conversation, go ahead and request back up. I will get you back in. Let's see here. Guys, keep tapping the screen. Tap. Also, guys, if you are, there we go. Let's see, apply. Okay. That still didn't necessarily fix it. All right, we're going to go ahead and start bringing people in. We are at 11,000 likes. If you're interested in joining the panel, go ahead and request up. I'm going to go ahead and get some of the people back on. Oh, it's flipping around. Oh, hold on. Oh, okay. All right, it's flipping around on me. It's moving, and I'm not trying to grab specific people. All right. Let's see. So you were here. and you were here. And let's see. Maddie, you were here. And oh wait, I thought I had Maddie. There's Maddie. Right. Okay, guys, keep tapping the screen. We're getting people in. As we get people in on the panel, just give us a quick moment here. Give us a quick moment here, and we will go ahead and get it started. Keep tapping the screen, share the live out. If we can knock out the daily gift goal, it'll help push us back out to the FYP. We were doing really well, especially to start the live. So we went around the panel, and I think at this point, we're gonna fast forward just a little bit. We're gonna fast forward just a little bit because we do know for a fact that we have spoken to a couple of people that are new to the panel, but there is one person on the panel that we did not get to do a quick introduction for. So I'm gonna go to Roxana. Roxana, is it Roxana? Yeah. Is that how you say your name?
Roxanne.
Roxanne. Roxanne.
I haven't heard that. I haven't heard that all day.
I know that's right. Roxanne, did you see the protests over this past weekend, and what were your thoughts?
I absolutely did. I wish I could have gone, but I was out of town and I was not able to go. I've never been on one of these lives before, and Santana, you are the most calm and understanding of lunatics that ever. I see Parker and Gene kind of lose their mind on these guys sometimes, but I don't know how you do it, Santana. When I can't, when my blood pressure's up way up, I have to find Santana.
Listen, I mean, like the thing that I'm trying to make sure that I get across and people understand is that we're all Americans and we have to figure it out together. And that's what this live is about, especially like figuring it out together because we're all on the same boat together.
Yeah, I am. I am definitely a liberal or a progressive, or whatever you want to call me. I wouldn't say I'm far left. I don't even know what that means. I'm a progressive.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Well, hey, look, we're gonna go ahead and get started here. Give me 1 second. Let's do we did the introductions. A couple of quick things before we get going. All right, so guys, this is for the people on the panel. Please be mindful and use TikTok friendly language while having these conversations. And again, TikTok friendly language is words like unalive, C19, mustache man, pew pew, all of those wonderful things that allows us to actually have these conversations. Also, guys, this is a safe and friendly community. What does that mean? That means we don't deal with any of the isms, racism, sexism, classism. We also don't do any of the phobias, homophobia, transphobia, none of that. We don't play that on the panel, nor do we play that in the chat. And speaking of the chat, guys, please be mindful. Caps are for mods. If you actually use caps in the chat, it will draw my attention away from the panel into the chat. Please be mindful because my mods, they don't play that. You will be muted and blocked. Last but not least, guys, keep tapping the screen, share the live out, do all the wonderful things. We do have a nightly donation goal, which D-Spec has already kicked us off the right way. W's in the chat for D-Spec, who sent a $5 nightly donation goal to say, just for the goal, side note, China privacy clause. I'm gonna have to look that up. China privacy clause. That seems like a nugget. Anyway, that means we only have $245 left in our nightly donation goal. Guys, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all the pay links are in the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks 24. Santana Speaks 24, best way to support the live. If you enjoy the information, education, entertainment, please consider donating. Everything is accepted. Anything's appreciated. So this is what we're going to do. I actually want to come to my friend Maddie first. I want to give Maddie the floor. Maddie, so I know you said that you saw the protest. You saw the protest and you saw a lot of liberals, complaining about someone they don't like and da 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 da. I get it. Cool. I would more so like to know your thoughts, right? Because we understand like what's happening. We
Mm-hmm.
understand, we've seen the stock market take a dip. We've seen people 401ks take a dip. We've even seen Bitcoin take a dip. I talked to Reppin before we had to do the reset about the trade war with China and the US. With HHS, with RFK, there's measles outbreaks, but he's also restraining the CDC. And I think that the one thing that the left and the right can pretty much agree on is that the legacy media, the media is failing us all with not, actually presenting information the way that it should and all of those other things. So my question to you, Maddie, just to start is, what are your thoughts on the current state of the country? And what do you think it's going to look like moving forward? Like how do we actually move this country forward? Not thinking about, well, I'm a leftist or I'm someone that votes right or red or blue, but like moving the country forward together.
Okay. Yeah, I can definitely agree with you on certain things. I think the legacy media obviously has definitely divided us left and right, and I think they failed us. But some things I just want to talk about the S&P 500 and things you brought up, crypto and
Mm-hmm.
all these things.
Mm-hmm.
You hear a lot of people on the left saying, "I told you so. I told you so." My logic is if everyone on the left knew that Trump was going to crash the market, there's two things you can do. You can pull out of the market and rebuy in and make a profit, or you can actually bet, or you can actually bet against the market. And if you were to do that 3 days ago, if you would have put $1,000 in, you would have turned your money into 100,000. So all I ask is the left, if you're going to complain about the stocks, at least put your money where your mouth is. That's really it. And with Bitcoin, you say Bitcoin's down, crypto's down,
Mm-hmm.
but let's remember also November 4th when Trump got elected, it skyrocketed. So is it really down? It's really just to what it was at when Biden was in office. And what's moving forward next for America? I always believe that we should, unite. People want to say Trump's a divider, but we can't just focus on the other side. We got to look in the mirror and say, okay, both sides are dividing.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, that's a good thought. Give me just a second here. Maritime, you have to wait. You know how this goes.
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Give me a second. I actually want to come to Jillian. Jillian, so I would actually love to hear your thoughts, right? So Maddie is Maddie is speaking from a position as far as like people that are being impacted by the stock market. If they were so forward thinking, they should have actually been more proactive and even more than that, there's a divisiveness on both sides, and we need to find ways to come together. What are your thoughts? I mean, do you feel like that the people that have been impacted by the different markets, and if they're saying like we knew this was going to happen, is it on them? And what is moving forward?
Well, I'm a little bit confused of where the put your money where your mouth is thing confused me big time. So I've never had enough money to decide to invest in the stock markets and try and build it up that way. Like the most I've had is being able to put in a little savings account and have a little interest. But from my understanding of the markets, if you have just enough money to invest, you don't have enough money to like play around. It's only the people with extreme amounts of money that are able to kind of like play around and jump in and out. And so the put your money where your mouth is doesn't quite make sense to me. Like I don't know if Maddie can kind of clarify what he meant by that.
Yeah, Maddie, would you like to elaborate on that any?
Yeah, I'll clarify it. So, like, if you're not really investing in the stock market, and you're a liberal, and liberals kind of feel like maybe the rich shouldn't be getting richer, just as the conservatives, you really shouldn't have a problem because most of the stock market, 80% of it is owned by the richest people in the world. So they're really losing their money. Secondly, if you are a liberal and you're invested in the stock market, and you hated Trump and you feel like he was going to crash the market, you can either pull out or put in a put option, which means you're betting against the market. And if you were a very smart liberal and were confident in the way Donald Trump was going to crash the economy, you would be very happy right now, preying on his downfall, because you would have made 1,000 times your money if you bought a put option.
Okay, so
Before you get in there, I just want to say one thing. Maddie, you do know, like, you're a liberal, right? Like, you
I'm
keep
a
saying
liberal.
liberal. Yeah.
No, I'm a conservative. I voted for Trump.
Yeah, but you're also a liberal, friend, and that's
I am
why
liberal in certain things, such as death penalty. I don't think anyone should get
unalive,
killed.
unalive. Yeah,
Sorry.
but yeah, no worries. So real quick couple of questions. Do you believe in individual rights?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Do you believe in civil liberty, like democracy?
Civil liberties. I think democracy is good, yeah, in some ways.
Okay. Do you believe in free enterprise,
But
capitalism?
one thing about this democracy thing, we live in a republic, not a democracy.
Yeah, no, I get it. Constitutional republic, blah
Yeah,
blah blah. Cool.
yeah, which is much better.
Right. Do you believe in free enterprise, capitalism?
Absolutely.
Can you see the screen?
Yeah.
What does that say?
Honestly, you might have to zoom in or read it.
Yeah,
Seriously.
you're a liberal. That's just the definition of being a liberal. And
Okay,
so
that's fine. You can call me liberal, but
I
no,
just I always go back to that. But I'm
Santana, you
sorry.
can call me a liberal, but obviously we have a huge disagreement on who we
Yeah.
voted for.
Yeah, no, listen, I'm not gonna say that your ideology is not progressive. It's just, the term. But anyway, I'm sorry, Jillian, you were speaking with Maddie.
yeah, so when you kept saying like you were saying liberals, and then you were saying, but it's only the wealthy, like liberals aren't part of the stock, like you realize that there are many wealthy people who are also either Democrats or more liberal leaning that are not okay with what's going on right now. And part of that stock market crash that's happening is people seeing what's going to happen and selling all their stocks so the prices go down.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I know that, there's some left-leaning people that are investing in the stock market.
There you go, Maddie.
But two things that I got to say about that. Most of the left-leaning people are against Trump, and they want to say, "Oh, I told you so. I told you this, that Trump was going to crash the market," but yet they never took advantage on betting against the market. So I feel like they're just speaking out of their behinds because they had huge opportunity to actually prove everyone wrong and capitalize off, the confidence in that Donald Trump would crash the stock market. And my second point is, if you're selling, I don't think that's a great idea, because every time the stock market is crashed 10 years from now, it's going to be 3-4 times of what it is now. So what you should really be doing is buying more and lowering your average buy-in price.
I wouldn't buy more right now. Not right now, but I get what
Well,
you're
it's
saying.
already, guys,
Maybe
it's already down 20%. You might as well bring down your average price.
Okay, that's exactly not how you do stocks, first of all. Also,
Okay.
maybe the reason
Wait, was
a
I
lot of
talking
Hold
to
on,
liberals.
hold on one
Jillian?
second. Hold on one second. No, Rhea. There was still Jillian and
And Rhea,
Maddie.
we have a different opinions on stock, so it's
Yeah,
okay. We can
yeah.
disagree.
Go
Yeah,
ahead,
and
Jillian.
I'm gonna step back from this, so someone else can speak about this, because I personally don't think that the stock market is the most important thing. I think the stock market like when we watch the stock market, it shows us a part of what's going on with the economy, but it doesn't show us everything, because the stock market is in a sense, it's gambling. It's very similar to gambling. It's not quite the same because there's a little bit more intelligence that goes involved compared to playing cards. But I think my attention would be better
Well,
going.
Well, hold on 1 second. Let me throw a question to you, Jillian, just to kind of
Okay.
challenge your worldview. How many people do
Yeah.
you think, what percentage of Americans do you think actually have money in the stock market?
Ooh. If we're talking all the way down to people who have just a tiny bit of money in there, then my guess is going to be around 70 something percent.
Okay. Yeah,
If
no.
we're only talking about the people who have like a lot of money, then obviously the percent would go lower.
Right, it's about 60%. And the reason why I say that is so you're speaking about the indicator and the stock market and things like that, but when you talk about 401ks, and that's another reason why, like on the background I put, stocks, 401k, and more so, I think more everyday people have been trying to engage in Bitcoin, which, is
Right.
even more volatile, but it stands to the point that a lot of people are being affected. And you know the 401k, that's something that a lot of people are affected by, even if they don't have a lot of money.
Right. The 401k is huge. I haven't been lucky enough to ever have a job that has a 401k option. but you're right. You're right. The 401k is definitely affected by the stock market.
and
Absolutely.
just one thing for Jillian, and I mean everyone on this panel, that comment about putting your money where your mouth is, it didn't mean to be rude, but when you have a group of leftists or mostly everyone on the left saying "I told you so,"
I like how you you adapted quickly. I'm sorry, you moved on from like liberal to leftist. Go ahead, you got
yeah, pretty
it.
much everyone on the left, like saying "I told you so," this and that, by putting your money where your mouth is, and like even how Jillian said, it's just a gamble. But for you guys, or sorry, I hate to say you guys, for the left to say, "Oh, I knew it, I knew it, I told you so, I told you so," and to sit there and not pull out and wait until their money drops is just crazy. Because in all actuality, they very well could have 1,000 times their money with a put option
Also,
over the
Okay,
last 3 days.
I'm having a problem with you saying that leftists or liberals or anything else are saying
Hmm.
I told you so. Like there might be a handful of people saying that, but most of us, at least from what I've seen online and heard and talked about myself, is we're all in the same boat. Like I'm not telling anyone I told you so.
And
I live in a mega area. I
mhm.
bartend almost all of my regulars. We have political conversations all the time, and I'm worried about them. I'm not telling them that I told you so.
Yeah,
Like
and I totally agree with you. And I mean, you're not obviously, and I'm not sure. You said you're not very invested in the stock market, anyways. But there are a lot of people on the left that this is why it's a topic up here, 401k. And I know Santana, he's one of the only leftists I truly appreciate because he's respectful and open minded. But you go on other panels and every other, just scroll through TikTok live, you'll see Trump is crashing the economy. I told you so. I told you.
Well,
We
so
knew this
let
would
me let
happen.
me hop in here just for a second and say that's true, right? Trump is crashing the economy, but I think,
Well, the
and
stock
this is the
market, yes, yeah.
well, I mean, like
Which
inflation
is a
is
part of
about to
the
take a tick up,
economy, yeah.
and consumer confidence is down,
But
and they
I will
talk
say
about
this,
like all that.
Santana. I just
Well,
saw
but
that.
hold on, because I need you to hear this, and I need everyone on the panel to hear this, and I think Maritime, because Maritime was here last night, and I think, he has an understanding of it. What I genuinely want to do, the focus of this week isn't just political debate, right? I know you guys see me, and we normally do just political debate, and we lean into it, but the thing that I really want us to try to focus on is finding the understanding that, again, it's not about left, it's not about right, it's not about red, it's not about blue. Everyone is dealing with these challenges together. And so at this point, it's about understanding like how do we actually deal with these challenges? Like, and that's why I asked the question, like, what's next? And so I know that we're going to talk about, well, your side, I did this, and I'm fine with that. But I want everyone on the panel to keep in the back of your minds that we are talking about America. We're not talking about Democrats. We're not talking about Republicans. We're talking about Americans. And that's the underlining theme of this entire week of discussions.
I completely agree. That's actually why I was kind of bringing up Obama earlier, but we can save that if people want to keep talking about the stocks.
Okay, well, you guys hold on for a second. We're going to pass it around a little bit more. Also, guys, drop some coconuts in the chat for Jessica Simone. What up, Jess? I want to come over to, all right, let me do this real quick. W's in the chat for D-Spec. D-Spec sent $1 donation saying, what's going on? Or what does that have to do with the price of tea in China? Listen, I don't know about the price of tea in China, but the price of tea in the US from China is now going to be like $50 a cup or whatever. So there's that. Anyway, guys, W's in the chat for D-Spec who sent that dollar donation. That means that we are only $244 away from closing out our nightly donation goal. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all the pay links and link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks 24. Best way to support the live. Everything is accepted. Anything's appreciated. And if you are over on YouTube, first and foremost, what up, YouTube? What up, Twitch? Make sure you're liking the stream. But if you would like to support, you can send a super chat over on YouTube, and I will read that donation out. I want to come to Madam, and then I want to come to Maritime. So, Madam, I would love to give you the floor and hear what your thoughts are, because, again, understanding that a lot of these things that are occurring, it's impacting all Americans. So you can speak on where we've been so far with the actual stock market and everything like that, or you can pick any of the other topics and kind of take us through as far as like how you plan on or how you're dealing with these things and what comes next for you or what should come next for our country.
Okay, so first off, Santana, I love your content. I respect you more than any content creator. Like,
listen,
like the last person
don't come
told
up
you,
here
like,
trying to butter up my biscuit.
no. I wholeheartedly mean this. Like, I learned in the beginning a lot from Dean and Parker, but when I saw you pop on their panel, I instantly, every time you're on live, I'm at least in the chats, bro. Listening to the knowledge, how you handle the race issues, everything, mad respect. And the fact that you said what I keep telling people, it's not about left, right. We have to find where we're going to go together, because if we keep attacking each other, nobody's going to get anywhere. Everybody's going to just be pitted against one another. And I want to say one thing before I get on my point.
Go ahead.
For the love of everything, stop entertaining a third term for any president. Stop it. It is reverse. If you guys are not thinking like I think, this is a Republican reverse psychology trick, because if they get enough of you on board to believe it's a good idea, then they will put that on for a vote and actually get what they want. So then they can do that whole inception idea. So please stop entertaining that idea. That is the whole reason they brought that up, is to sway you that way. It's but all jokes aside, me personally, how I feel about the stock market, I saw it coming because all the signs were there from the very get-go. Like the way, because I'm going to refer to a situation with GameStop since I'm a gamer, where we saw where they manipulated the stock market so that certain individuals would get money back to keep them out of bankrupting. It's a lot like the other guest said. It's a gamble. The stock market is like gambling. It's not completely in favor of the people. It's a system set up where if you know what you're doing to a degree, you can make money from it, but it's not like a system to actually have the future you want. You have to kind of, like, it fluctuates too crazy sometimes. Even with stability, sometimes it sways in ways you can't account for. So I think that the stock market, honestly, I don't like where it's going. Like, it's hurting a lot of people who really put their futures into it. I mean, can we do anything about it now? Honestly, probably not, because what's happened has happened. The damage is done. It's going to take a long time for that to pop back, but we got to stop attacking each other and think forward is on that. But
Well,
Excuse me.
so I guess with that being said, then I mean, like, so what are your thoughts? Like, how do we stop attacking people, especially when you have an instance where there are a lot of people that are hurt, right? I mean, you have a lot of people from Jillian's point of view, right? A lot of people that are genuinely being affected, but then you also have a lot of people like Maddie who are, saying like, hey, if you keep saying that I told you so, like if you actually knew that, then stop being so condescending and you should have been better. How do you bridge that gap between those two different sides?
It's Here's the thing. It's like it's a hard gap to bridge, first off, because it's like the kind of scenario where people say if the person doesn't want help, they're not good. They have to want to reach out for help themselves first in this scenario. Like, because my honest belief is that through educating people on the history, the past, everything from the beginning is one way to bring some of the it, because I feel like a lot of it is ignorance and not understanding the situations. Because if you understand it better, it's easier to relate with somebody, because you can talk to somebody for 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you dislike that person, y'all are going to find a common ground somewhere, one way or another. One might be more stubborn than the other about admitting it, but you'll find a common ground where you can at least say, okay, we'll meet right here. So
Yeah.
I believe it's about educating people, not going after them with, like they said, like the I told you so. It's not going to work on everybody, because some people have different upbringings, and those different upbringings affect the way they circulate and think about things. It's like when you're young, you don't have all the knowledge you want. But me, I was a go-getter. I
Mm-hmm.
was reading books and learning everything from like the age of 5 up. I was always learning new things to understand how things work. And I feel like a lot of the gap is the ignorance and not understanding it. Like you have to find a common ground. It's difficult where it's not really I told you so, but kind of gradually getting them to understand, like to a degree, the information they're missing from an equation. Like when you're looking at like a whole equation and there's that one number or variable you can't see, and then once you see it, they can start to kind of understand what's going on. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's where it comes from, is educating them, not attacking them, honestly.
Okay. Okay. Listen, that's absolutely reasonable. Let's go over to Maritime, because Maritime, I want to hear from you, right? Because like you and I spoke last night, and I think we left off somewhere. But one, I would love to hear your thoughts on what they're saying as far as bridging the gap. Maritime, what can you do to reach out to a leftist to actually bring them back into the fold as far as getting on track together? And also, I would love to hear your thoughts as far as the trade war. Well, no, I don't want to go trade war because we talked tariffs last night, and I get that. I would more so like to hear your thoughts on any of the markets, stock market, 401k, Bitcoin. So
So I won't bring up the tariffs.
we did it last night.
Yeah, I won't bring it up. What I will say is, Maddie suggesting trading stock options is not a good idea. You don't trade stock options. I know firsthand. I tried it. Like, not a good suggestion to how to play the stock market. Second point I have is, and hear me out. I know you're gonna get mad, Santana. All right,
Go ahead.
it's about this third term thing that
No,
was mentioned.
no, Maritime.
Look, just hear me out, okay?
The floor is yours. The floor is yours.
Take a walk with me here, okay?
I refuse, but the floor is yours.
All right. So projects take a long time. They take like 20, 30 years, right? Like talking about New York, right? You're going to build a subway, right? It takes 20 or 30 years worth of funding, right? If you get into office, right? You say, hey, I'm going to pay for this subway thing, whatever. People aren't going to vote you in. But if you have a understood 20-year term limit or something like that, then
Did you say 20 years?
I just made that up. Yeah. If you had a longer term limit, people would, like, if you sign on for a project like building a subway, which takes a lot of years, people would be okay that, like, they would vote you in, and then you could get these projects done. And this is one thing that China does that I believe is better than what we do, because you can't get these high costing projects done in like 4 years. You can't do it. It takes longer than 4 years, right? So they have a longer time span to complete their projects. We don't. So I'm bringing this back now to this whole idea of Trump's third term. Okay, not the worst idea, and I'm not saying only for someone like Trump, right? We can do that for both sides, right? But the point is making those terms longer so we can accomplish things that take more time, things that don't take 4 years, because lot of projects take way more than 4 years. Can we agree there? Can we agree that projects take more than 4 years? Not the rest of my ideas.
I mean, I understand long-term projects. I also understand that. I mean, I'm gonna hold my thoughts. Go ahead, go ahead. I'm gonna hold my thoughts because I want to hear. Actually, I want to hear from Roxanne next because I genuinely want to hear what Roxanne has to say about this. But you finish, and then I'm gonna go to Roxanne because I want to hold my thoughts.
May I reply to Maritime real quick?
Well, yeah. Let him finish because you want to say something about the stocks.
Yeah, I'll make it like less than 15 seconds.
Okay, just hold tight. Land your plane, Maritime.
No, let him talk. I said my piece on stock options. I don't believe that that's ever a good idea to do. So you can go say whatever you want to say.
Okay, yeah, make your point real quick, and then I want to go to Roxanne.
Yeah, absolutely, Maritime. I 100% agree that they're very risky, but in all honesty, if you're on the left and you had full 100% confidence that it was going to go,
He's not on the left.
no, I know he's not. I know.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying, if everyone wants to say I told you so, and they had full 100% clarity that the stock was going to go down, like I said, they would have 1,000 times their money. So,
but when you invest in stocks, you don't do it based on how you feel about politics. You do it based on a lot of other factors. Okay, what you're saying is based on your feelings about politics, and I don't agree with you.
Well, sorry to just let me finish here. I mean, are we aware that tariffs cause speculation in the market, and speculation typically would bring the stock market down?
Wait. Okay, hold on. You guys got to hold this because I'm gonna let Maritime tell you his tariff theory, even though I said we're not gonna talk about tariffs. And then yeah, I promise you, your perspective is gonna change. It'll blow your mind.
Absolutely. And 5 seconds left. Maritime, my bad, bro. Yeah, I get options are risky, but maybe you missed the first thing I said. At least you could have pulled out your money from the stock market. That was the first thing I said. But I know we're both on the same side here. But
okay, but sure, but at the
same technically we're all on the same side. Okay, hold on. Both of you guys mute up for me just a second, okay? Roxanne, that was a lot. Roxanne, what are your thoughts? I mean, what are your thoughts on the market? Are you trying to see Trump have a third term to have more? What I was like, whoo, that was a lot.
No,
that was a lot.
I don't want to say anything to get me banned here, but if someone had a heart attack tomorrow and was gone, it would be I would cheer on the street. But I won't say who.
We're not gonna name names.
We're not gonna name names. My husband and I are boomers, so I am definitely the oldest person in this chat. And we both retired a year ago. You know, when people talk about stocks, they make it sound like it's this elitist thing where people we don't trade the stock market. Our 401k is all in the stock market. It's in a managed fund, and we are in the low risk managed fund because, you know, most of our life is in a rearview mirror. So we're trying to put money in the safest way. Not all of our money is in a 401k. We also have an annuity, and my husband has a pension, and we have a Social Security, and our 401k was looking pretty good, but in the last 5 days we lost $30,000. Now, for a gazillionaire, that's nothing, but for us, that's a lot of money. And
It is.
but I don't
Sorry
like
to hear
to
that.
make it about me because I'm an empath, and I want to know how the heck are poor people getting through this? What are they going to do? Because I don't know. I don't see any light at the end of the tunnel here, and it makes me sad and scared. And I've got 6 grandkids. Four of them, their dad's a doctor, so they're doing pretty well. But the other two, their dad works for a nonprofit, so they're working for a lot less money.
Mm-hmm.
They're already just kind of scraping by, and
Yeah.
I know you don't want to talk about the tariffs, but the tariffs are
No,
what
no, I mean, no,
making
no. I was just
America.
saying you can talk about him. I just didn't want Maritime to talk about him because, which I'm going to let him talk about. He has an absolutely, in my opinion, insane theory, and I didn't want him to go off on it again. But you could talk about it, and I'm going to let him get back around to it in a moment anyway.
And saying in a good way.
Yeah, wait until you hear it. Oh my gosh, wait until you hear it.
Well, maybe it'll make me happy.
Nah, it won't.
Oh.
It will not.
Anyway, I waited long after retirement age to retire because I liked working. But then I thought, my grandkids live 2 hour drive away from here, and I wanted to go up and see them more, and so I decided, yeah, I'm going to retire.
Thank you for the game.
And so I've just retired a year ago, and everything was going along really well. Our 401k was, it wasn't exploding, but it was doing fine.
Right.
And we have some other money in the annuity, and we have a little college fund for each of our grandkids. And I don't want to take that away from them so that we can go to the grocery store.
Yeah, and I think that in people like you who have earned the ability to actually live a comfortable life after working all your life, like I think you absolutely have the right to that, and you should enjoy that. You should enjoy being able to spend time with your grandkids and be able to go to the grocery store and not have to worry about a lot of those things. But you did say one thing, and I want to hear from Maddie because he put something in the chat, and I would love for Maddie to answer your original question, which you were saying, well, what about poor people? What about people who really don't have those luxuries? They don't have that 401k, like you said. They don't have those different types of things. Maddie, to Roxanne's point, what about the people that were already hurting that are now being affected even more?
Absolutely. My comment in the comment section was usually lower income people don't even invest in the stock market. Nevertheless, have a 401k. But another point to that is S&P 500 dropped. I mean, almost as bad as this in 2020 with COVID in 2022.
C19.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
And 2022, not as bad as this, but pretty bad. But I just think it goes up. Most of these best investors typically can't beat the S&P 500. So it goes up and down, and right now it's a downtime, obviously, because everyone on the left knew that tariffs would cause speculation and it'd go down.
Okay. 1 second. So this is what I want to do because you said something interesting, and I already know what I would say. But Rhea, I'm gonna come to you, and I want you to think about this for a second because he called something out. He said that this has happened before, of course, in the stock market around C19, and so I'm gonna have you talk about that in just 1 second. But I just want to read these two off, guys. W's in the chat for Angela. Angela sent a $5 donation saying, Maddie, I can't call my 401k and say stop investing. That's funny. W's in the chat for Angela for that donation. W's in the chat for Gene, who sent a dollar donation, said, hey, yo, was that MAGA on MAGA crime just now? Yes, Maritime and Maddie were going back and forth again. Wait until I let Maritime tell Maddie about his tariff policy. I promise you it's going to get even more wicked. And last but not least, guys, W's in the chat for Roxanne. Thank you, Roxanne. Roxanne sent a $20 donation saying, keep fighting the good fight. Thank you so much for that $20 donation. You are far too kind, guys. W's in the chat for everyone. That means that now we are only $218 away from closing out our nightly donation goal. If only 200, hey, thank you for the puppy. If only 218 people send $1, we can close out our nightly donation goal, guys. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all the pay links are in the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks 24. Santana Speaks 24 is the best way to support the live. If you enjoy the information, education, entertainment, please consider donating. Everything is accepted. Anything's appreciated. And over on YouTube, you can send a YouTube super chat and actually support. And I will read your message off there. Rhea, the floor is yours.
So to be honest, I was tuning out for the majority of this because I was like, it's the same thing I've been hearing on and on, which is uselessly defending Trump when if you had Obama or Biden doing the same policies, there would be an outroar. Y'all would be impeaching him and setting constitutional grounds for impeachment. So, I mean, it's just the same stuff I hear at school, the same stuff I hear from MAGA people when they try to defend what Trump is doing and say that, oh, just wait and watch, or, oh, it's all for a reason. But y'all would never ever say that if it was anyone else. And it is almost mind-blowing how people are just gonna blindly follow Trump in what he's doing without really realizing the consequences or paying attention to what the actual effects are happening on actual people. For example, my family, I will say we are well off. We're not in poverty like so many people who are now gonna experience the negative results of it. But my dad completely lost his 401k. He has been stressed for days now because of what Trump is doing. This is nonsensical and shouldn't be happening. Economists are predicting a recession if he continues with these tariffs. And just adding on to the tariff, one more thing. I think it's wild that he is refusing to tariff Russia.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Yeah,
I agree.
sorry.
No, you're fine. Listen, like I understand that perspective, and I definitely want to go back to the point as well as far as like you know where your father is and how the 401k has been affected, because I know that's a huge thing. But I really want to take a step back and go back to what Maddie said. Because Maddie was talking specifically about the stock market, and he made a statement that the stock market this happened in the stock market around 2020 and again in 2021, and it recovered. And I think it's something super important to call out as far as like that. But Rhea, any thoughts as far as like what happened in 2020 versus what's happening now?
I think looking at the economy between 2020, is that what you're talking about, the economy?
Yeah, the stock market.
Yeah, I mean, there were so many reasons, I guess, why the stock market in 2020 was bad, and I'm not going to necessarily entirely blame this on Biden or Trump. I will say Trump should have handled this a lot better, but I am willing to recognize, because I'm not so blindly loyal to my party or the people I believe in, that I can recognize that Trump did have to deal with a pandemic. He had to deal with COVID, and although he could have handled that better, although he could have handled that better, it is not entirely his fault, and that you can attribute some of that. But what he's doing now, he's now a lame duck president, so he doesn't care about the consequences, because if he wants to get reelected for a third term, he's anyways going to have to amend the Constitution. So he's a lame duck president. He's going crazy, and what he's doing right now is, I think, nonsensical, and he's just doing hardball because he's trying to show everyone he's the greatest superpower. But the moment you play hardball with people who are our allies like Canada and Mexico and the UK and the EU, you are now distancing yourself from the other biggest nuclear powers in this world, and that is extremely dangerous to America.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, give me 1 second. I know Maddie wants to respond to you, but before I give Maddie the floor, I do just want to call out what I was referring to is, yes, C19. Maddie, the last time this actually happened, it was C19, and the markets did crash because there was a worldwide pandemic that cost the lives of over 1 million Americans. And I think that we would be remiss if we didn't take a whole step back to realize that the stock market reacts the same way to Donald Trump as a worldwide global pandemic that cost people their lives. The stock market views Donald Trump as equals to C19. So don't let that one go over your head. Anyway, the floor is yours.
Okay. I respect the way Rhea presented herself. There's a lot of stuff she talked about over the last 5 minutes I got to hit on. 2020, yeah. 2022 crash. It crashed twice in 4 years with Biden. Secondly, she brought up the fact that, if this were to happen with Obama or Biden, we would be calling for impeachment. And you're right. The only difference is with Trump is he told us exactly what he was going to do. We voted for him, and I still stand by voting for him. And he did exactly say that these tariffs would cause short-term pain for long-term gain. And me personally, I believe in long-term benefits over short-term come up. So maybe that's where we're disagreeing. In speculation, just like C19, a lot of people think, oh, it's C19, it's a pandemic, the stock market will never go back up. Speculation is speculation, and that's the same point we're at right now.
Can I just say, hold on one second. Can I just say, Maddie, this is the second time that I've corrected you on something. And not only did I correct you, but you corrected it and you moved with it. I'm actually proud of you with that.
Yes.
Holy smokes. Okay.
Yeah, because I really respect your panel.
Yeah, no,
and
thank you.
Being open-minded.
Yeah, absolutely. Rhea, go ahead.
Yeah, so first of all, the stock market was coming back up. It was recuperating under Biden. And as soon as Trump went back in office, all of Biden's work over the last 4 years just disappeared in a mere 2 days. And you're saying that, oh, he was upfront about this. I voted for this. All he said is we're going to place reciprocal tariffs. He said nothing about the crashing of the stock market, the crashing of the global economy. And to say that, oh, I believe in him because he was upfront about this. He's never upfront about anything he does. If you truly look at his policies and how he acts in office, and it's just scary that I think a lot of people can defend this or say that Biden was terrible for the economy when you see what's happening now. And Biden did a lot of good. And Maddie, I think you are not willing to acknowledge that the way I acknowledge Trump, because you're simply saying Biden completely crashed the economy, which is completely false. He completely turned it around. He was trying his best with what he got, with the economy he inherited, and I think he did a lot of good for what he had. And I think to say that he didn't is completely ignorant.
Okay. The only thing I can ask now is that we pull up the facts. If you're referring to the economy as a stock market, let's pull up the S&P 500 from 2019 to 2025. You'll see that Trump actually was the one who rebounded the economy before Biden even got into office in early 2021. And then it crashed a year later with Biden in 2022, either due to multiple factors, with all the stimulus checks and the Russia. I don't know if there's any safe talk on Russia-Ukraine, but Russia-Ukraine war. So
It's right
that's
there.
my point.
Yeah,
It's on the screen. You can see that that's false.
Yeah, just
so can
FYI,
you
this
zoom
is
in
like
on the years, please?
this is the 5-year trend, right? This is 2020, and this is how it actually moved forward. And so this is February 2021. This is where we were, right? And so we were at 3886, right? And so it continued to go up under Biden, and it did go down.
Yes.
Right? It did go down, but as we said, it continues to actually grow to tremendous levels, and then right here, that's Trump.
Respectfully, you guys are missing my point. Rhea made the point that she said Biden rebounded the economy. You see that dip in 2020 with Trump. We all know COVID started under Trump.
C19.
Oh, Yeah, C19 started with Trump. He rebounded the economy. It went down, and Ria wants to talk about this dip. Yeah, there's a dip, but let's not forget, as soon as Trump was elected, crypto went up by like 40%, and there was a huge gain in the economy. So what are we back to? We're back to last year's numbers. So,
So
I
let me
mean,
respond to
So
that.
yeah,
hold on.
please
So, 1
do.
second. So this is February 2017, right? As we start to actually progress, you can see that the stock market was doing okay, but it was never taking the massive leaps that it took. Now this is
I'm
when we
talking
hit
about his new
C19,
term
right?
with crypto.
Well, I'm talking specifically to the stock market under the actual time frame that he was in office. But again, it did slowly tick up and take a massive drop here, and then it started to actually rebound
Where
and
was
move
that?
forward.
What point is that? I can't. It's small.
March, that looks like the lowest was uh, March of 2020.
And
That was the
Biden
lowest.
got into office January 2021.
Right. So that was the lowest, and then it started to tick back up. And so
So it was fully
it was
rebounded
moving,
before. Yeah.
right.
So
It
I can
was
speak on
moving
that
up.
dip.
It was
Yeah,
moving
please
up.
do, Ria.
I will.
Guys, 1 second. Still talking. It was moving up, but the point that I'm trying to make is yes, it did actually take massive leaps under Joe Biden, and it did go down, but there's no point under Donald Trump did the stock market ever go up as much under Donald Trump as it did under Joe Biden. Ria, finish your point.
Yeah, so Maddie is pointing out the small dip that happened in 2022. And I would like to ask what else happened around that? Oh, yeah, Russia and Ukraine started happening. Russia
hmm
invaded Ukraine, and then we placed a ton of sanctions on Russia and countries that provided oil to us, and therefore gas rate rose and certain other imports and exports rose because of the Russia Ukraine war. So, yes, of course, there's going to be a dip when a global war happens, which affects us by a huge amount because we exported and imported a lot. And so, yeah, that's why there is a dip. And after that dip, look how much more it went back up. Look at the skyrocketing growth that happened after that. So, yeah, there was a war. We had to place sanctions, and that's why there was a dip. But then Biden did so much and as much as he could to help recover from that war. So you are saying that yeah, it was 19, and that's why Trump has his dip, but you can't say the same for Biden. Also, your cryptocurrency and how as soon as Trump was elected, they are the skyrocketing for cryptocurrency. But look at it now. You're failing to realize in the last 2-3 days, cryptocurrency has completely lost its value. It is coming to meager cents now, and that is something I've been hearing a lot on the news that it is
Yep.
now losing its value.
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely. Hold on 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. Yes, we do understand that crypto has lost a lot of value. That's why it's one of the reasons on the point on the top. And then also we do understand the actual happenings of the stock market, and even more so, the economy is way more than just the stock market.
Absolutely.
I don't want to get too much in a back and forth in a like a debate, because even more so, I want us to continue to remember what the underlying theme is for this entire conversation. But I do also want to give an opportunity for some people that haven't gotten to speak a chance to speak. So with that being said, let me just read these off real quick. I guess I'll say W's, whatever, Maritime. I guess I'll give you a W, somewhat of it, like a like a lowercase W in the chat from Maritime, who sent a dollar donation. Says tariffs, you agree? Yes, Maritime. In just a second, I'm going to let you talk about tariffs. W's in the chat for Jesse, who sent a dollar donation and said, pretty sure Maddie answer to what about the poor people was, I don't care. Kind of was. W's in the chat for those donations, guys. That means that we are only $216 away from closing out our nightly donation goal. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all the pay links are in the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks 24, best way to support the live. If you enjoy the information, education, entertainment, please consider donating. Everything's accepted, anything's appreciated. And over on YouTube, you can send a YouTube super chat. Sarah, I know you had to drop and then you came back. Sarah, I wanted to give the floor to you because you have not had an opportunity to speak. Sarah, what do you want to bring to the conversation?
I just wanted to bring up that I think the protests are sort of working for a, as I have noticed that some Trump supporters are not as pro Trump as they used to be. Maybe
Mm.
that's I I go on to MAGA panels, conservative panels, and I've learned to talk about this stuff, and I'm trying to talk to people about this. And I've noticed that I've noticed on the channel that they were super um they don't like the protest because they are annoyed by the fact that so many people are getting up and getting out. And I really want to express that there is a lot of that I think the protests are doing a lot of good. Like, I see so many people going out and telling a lot of people that they regret their vote. And it's such a beautiful thing. I think that the more that I'm growing and I'm learning, because I know I'm young, the more that I have learned that it's not even that they're backing Trump, but I don't think they truly know why they are backing Trump. It's an
Yeah.
idea concept.
Yeah, no, I think there is a lot to that, a lot to be said as far as how it's somewhat of a sunken cost in which, a lot of people that support Trump have put so much of their political capital behind Donald Trump, and really felt like they were made a part of a family with Donald Trump, and so a lot of them feel that way. And then you do have some people who are, I guess, you can say, regretting their vote, but also looking at it in different positions. But I get what you're saying, and I think there's a lot to that, Sarah. So I completely understand exactly what you're saying.
The last thing I want to say is the what now that you're questioning. I think that we need to keep doing these. I think we are getting through to a lot of people. I think that it may be upsetting a few Trump supporters because they're like, you're not doing anything. But I think we're getting through to more people than MAGA wants to give us credit for.
Yeah, well, I think that we come to a point where we have people like Maritime, who was here last night and who's back again, and then Maddie, who, like, again, adjusted really quickly, where, I mean, whether they see it or not, I think there's, some sense of trying to figure it out, right? And so I agree. I think this is necessary. I think this is necessary. That's why I wanted to do this week, is because we can't always be at each other, especially like, again, times are hard for everyone right now, and we have to figure it out together. Because no, I'll save what I yeah, I have another thought, and I'll save that for tomorrow. Anyway, thank you, Sarah. Okay, give
Thank
me
you
one
so much.
second here. Maritime, go ahead and tell people about your ideas with tariffs.
All right, I waited for a while for this. All right, so here's my point. Hear me out, okay? Everyone on the panel. So we have two programs that everyone loves, right? We have Social Security, we have Medicare, right? Two programs. I don't disagree with it. I'm fine with it. But those two programs, they cost a lot of money, right? A lot. Like 130 trillion for 30 years, okay? Now, what I'm saying is, how do you pay for it? Normally, you would say taxes, say increase taxes, right? But if you say that, you won't ever get voted into office, right? But there's something else you can do. You can say something called tariffs. You throw in tariffs, and all of a sudden, people are okay with it. So that's the argument I'm making. Why I'm okay with these tariffs. Why I'm okay with Donald Trump's position on increasing tariffs on other countries?
Okay. Yeah, I know. What, Maddie, do you agree with tariffs to increase taxes on American citizens?
But by increased taxes, what do you mean?
Maritime's position is that we need to increase taxes on all American citizens, and Donald Trump is doing it covertly by placing tariffs on other countries so we can raise the taxes on everyday Americans without telling people that we're raising the tariffs, and he's telling people that we're raising their taxes, and he's in agreement with it.
My perspective on Trump is that he was going to cut federal income tax and replace it with tariffs, just like he said he'd do.
No, Maritime wants more taxes all around.
No, I do not want more taxes all around at all.
Look. This proves my point, dude. He will not agree with increasing taxes, but he agrees with the tariffs.
Here's my point. Tariffs are inflationary, taxes are deflationary. I think if we get rid of federal income tax, sure, grocery prices will go up.
Dude, here's the thing: you would not.
Let me finish real quick. Sorry, I'll be real quick. I don't want to. Yeah, grocery prices will go up, but secondly, if you don't have income tax, and you're also not paying 20% income tax, and on top of that, hold on, one more thing, and on top of that, if we can get these tariffs down to zero, which is Trump ultimately trying to do, is create free trade, then we won't be paying more for groceries and we won't have any federal income tax. And we'll be taking in trillions of dollars.
At the end of the day, right, whether you call it tariffs, whether you call it taxes, you're paying more for whatever you're buying, right? Can we agree on that?
Yes, as long as it's getting imported, yeah. And it's
okay, but here's the thing. And you said it yourself. You were okay when I said one word. When I used tariffs, you were not okay when I said taxes.
Well, there's a difference for me, and there's a huge difference.
But it's not a fucking difference.
Language. My mom is watching.
I mean, sure. I'll explain my difference. And you can see what my difference is. One, you're taking from the American people, and the other one, you're taking from other countries. That's the difference.
But seriously,
right?
though, like how is there a difference between?
Hold on. I just want to make sure that everyone listening, everyone watching, everyone on TikTok, everyone on Twitch, everyone on YouTube understand that both Maritime and Maddie both voted for Donald Trump. Yes, they both voted for Donald Trump. Anyway, you two, go ahead and finish the conversation.
Okay. Yeah. Maritime, you wanna go, or did you hear my last point? I think they're completely different. In that one way.
In what one? And repeat your entire statement. I didn't hear you.
The one way they're different. Taxes take away from us, and tariffs take away from other countries. So I rather take away from other countries.
We're paying tariffs.
I totally get that, but the end goal is to take the tariffs imposed on us and have free trade, which is really the opposite of what you're saying. It's not more taxes. If we now if what you're saying, if these tariffs keep going up, absolutely, you're right. But the end goal, which what I hope Trump does, is get us to free trade with a lot of countries who have been ripping us off.
So your position is you really think that it's going to increase free trade and not...
Well, multiple countries like Taiwan, Israel, Zimbabwe is small. It shouldn't really matter. But those countries have already talked about decreasing their tariffs to zero, along with Japan.
Let me ask you, the real purpose of the tariffs, or what was claimed to be, right, was to increase manufacturing here. Do you think that will happen? Yes or no?
Supposedly there's $7 trillion investment coming here. I guess we'll see.
Supposedly is the key word.
And guys, potentially is a key word, but can you really blame me for saying potentially when it's 2 months into the administration?
Well, remember in the first term, though, he said a lot of investments and supposeds were supposed to happen that never happened. I just want to
Are you?
point that out and leave it at that.
I would actually like to see your point out and raise your point out in the sense that Microsoft, which were supposed to be actually open up multiple facilities in Ohio, billion-dollar facilities in Ohio, as of today has called off those plans to manufacture to build those facilities in Ohio because of Trump's policies with tariffs, and it's no longer cost efficient for them to actually build in Ohio, causing Ohio to lose out on billions of dollars.
And that's okay because you have 7 trillion coming in, and 2 trillion of that is coming from Saudi Arabia and the UAE. So we can lose billions as long as we're bringing in trillions.
Look, we're on the same side.
Okay, hold on.
Wait, Maritime, real quick. You voted for Trump, right?
Yeah, both of you did.
Yes.
No, okay, you did. All right, so we just have difference of opinion on something. I'm sure we can. And Santana, you say that I'm opening my eyes a little bit to the left.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm opening my eyes, and not to be but I've always been open for middle ground, and I could never ever get there with any other liberal platformer up here.
Leftist
platformer. No one on the left wants to have a middle ground, and I see a lot of radical things on the left, and I don't agree with a lot of the radical things on the right, but I am conservative.
Yeah. Okay, look, we're gonna move off of this, but there's just one thing that I have to do this. I have to do this. Maritime, like listening to what you just said, listening to it last night, listening to it again today, I all I can do is think of, and some people might have saw me put this in one of my videos, but all I can think of is Dave Chappelle explaining Donald Trump's ideas.
Elaborate on that, please.
This mother wear Nikes. I don't want to make them shits. What the fuck are you
doing? Yeah.
Hey, real quick, China isn't the only people we can go to. There's plenty of other countries who are willing to work almost as hard as China. That's why I love free market, because we'll just go to the next best person.
Yeah.
Real quick, before we move out of tariffs, can I ask both of these gentlemen a question?
And me too. I want to ask one too.
Hold on one second. Okay. Let me just say this, guys. W's in the chat for Jesse, who sent a $1 donation saying, ask these two political geniuses to define inflation and then tell them tariffs are inflationary, and then tell them to remember that they were complaining about inflation under Biden, and now they don't care. So yeah, would either one of you like to respond to that?
Yeah, I think I did. You want to go first, Maritime? You can.
All right. Well, look, my position has been, and it always is, that we don't pay enough in taxes, right? I don't think middle class pays enough, specifically. And so I think we should collectively pay more. And I feel like I'm keep repeating the same thing, but the point I'm trying to make is that you can't say that you're going to raise taxes because you will not get into office. So how do you do it? You do something called tariffs. And I agree with increasing.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, madam.
I just want to say something real quick. And this is just my opinion, but part of the problem we have with politicians right now getting into office is telling us lies that leads to all the divisiveness, because they trick you. You wouldn't want a friend to tell you they're going to do something for you and turn around and not do it because it would upset you. So why would you want somebody who lies and tricks you and then covers it up as something else? Because that's like getting a really bad cut and then slapping a Band-Aid over it, hoping that you're going to save yourself. It doesn't solve the issue. We need honest people in office to tell us their actual plans. Like a candidate that we had, I'm not trying to make it a debate, I'm just pointing that out, because what you just said is basically it's okay for somebody to deceive us and put it under something else and we're just going to ride along with it. And I'm gonna drop on that. I'm going to stop at that point.
So, can I ask Maddie a question?
Well,
Last question, Rhea, and then I gotta swap you out.
well, do
Yeah.
you want me to respond to that commenter?
Yeah, and actually, I'm sorry, I never got to say W's in the chat for Jesse. Jesse, thank you for that dollar donation. And guys, we're $215 away from closing out the nightly goal. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all the pay links are in Linktree and bio. Santana Speaks 24, best way to support the live. If 215 people send $1, we can close that out. Everything is accepted. Anything's appreciated. Go ahead and reply, Maddie.
All right. Yeah, I did say tariffs are inflationary. I don't know if you heard me. I said Trump's end goal is to have zero tariffs, free trade through negotiations. I don't know what else he wants to hear from that, but that's it. Rhea can go ahead.
Yeah, so I just want to ask this question and then respond to whatever he has to say in answering this question. And then, Santana, if you need to switch me out, you can. Although I would love to stay if not. But, Maddie, can you tell me why one of the only countries that we didn't add reciprocal tariffs to was Russia?
No,
None of them were
I have no
reciprocal
idea.
tariffs.
Right,
We didn't
because-
we didn't add reciprocal tariffs to anybody. Like, that's not what we did.
Yeah, but I'm just saying because they're calling it reciprocal tariffs, but I'd like to point out that one of the only countries we didn't add a tariff to was Russia, and I think that makes us really think about what that relationship is, and
Well,
we really need to critically think on that because Russia has tariffs on the U.S., yet for some reason, when we're so focused on tariffing in what quote unquote reciprocal tariffs, we don't do a reciprocal tariff on one of the biggest countries that do exports and imports. So
Yeah. So the point that I would love to call out is like I get the premise behind what you're saying. And yes, we definitely do have sanctions on Russia, but we we absolutely this is not reciprocal tariffs. Like, that's the point that I'm trying to make. Like,
yeah,
Donald Trump somehow like the numbers aren't right. That's the point. Like, none of the numbers are right, and that's just the whole point that I'm trying to make.
agreed. But and we even the countries we do sanction, we have placed tariffs on. Like we sanction China for human rights, but we still placed a reciprocal tariff on them and a huge one. Sorry. Quote unquote reciprocal tariff, but for some reason, when it comes to Russia, we're not willing to do that because we just love Putin so much.
Any other thoughts on that point, Maddie? Maddie?
Yo, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, to respond to that now after thinking about it, Rhea, Santana did take half the words out of my mouth. I know 2 weeks ago or a week ago in an article it said something about Trump with negotiations with Putin, that he's threatening all these sanctions because they're not coming to terms on a peace deal. I also think maybe we're not putting extra tariffs on them, maybe like some other countries that are being sanctioned, is all due to negotiating a peace deal right now, in the middle of a peace deal. Maybe that could be it.
Which is entirely speculation and has
Yeah.
no proof to back that up. You're just
No, and
speculating
there's
as
no
to
proof
reasons.
to back a lot of things up in the world.
Right. And Trump has never said that's why he's not tariffing Russia, but he wants to tariff all of these other countries except
As
Russia.
he should.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
wait, one thing to say to Madam, he was talking about we don't need politicians to lie to us anymore. I don't know if you guys know this on the left or leftists, but that's why a lot of people voted for Trump. Like I said, for the fourth time, he did everything he said he'd do.
And he lied 1,000 times.
Okay,
About
so
what?
so first
About
of all,
deporting
I'm an
illegal immigrants. About what? About everything he said he'd do.
Okay, hold on, guys. Seriously, I need everybody to slow down for a second. Take a whole step back. Take a breath. Rhea, thank you for coming up. I'm gonna go ahead and swap you out, my friend. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Also, guys, massive W's in the chat. Massive W's in the chat for Stephanie, who sent a $5 donation and just a penguin emoji. Just the penguin emoji. W's in the chat for Stephanie. Thank you so much for that $5 donation. That means, guys, we are now only $210 away from closing out our nightly donation goal. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all the pay links in the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks 24. Best way to support the live. Everything is accepted. Anything's appreciated. Madam, would you like to respond?
Yeah, so first of all, I want to point out that I'm actually an independent, and I want to make this very clear. If there was a Republican candidate that actually had good values, I would side with them because I'm about the country and what's better for all people. So I want to get that straight. Second of all, he did not tell the truth. I want to lay that out clearly. This is the thing. He tells, it's like when you tell a half truth and you're like, oh, I didn't really lie about it because I said this. That's what I'm gonna call him Dumpty. I'm not gonna use his real name because he doesn't even respect people's pronouns himself. So,
I know that's
anyways, but he does half truths, okay? And he thinks here's the thing. It's like he does. I call it the Jedi mind trick for a reason because it only works on the weak-minded people. He'll tell you a half truth, and technically it is a truth. But then if he gets caught and boxed in a corner, he always deviates from it and he scapegoats it to one of his members and they take the fall. That's what happens every single time. He doesn't have accountability. But if it's a positive truth and he's getting a bunch of positive feedback, he reaps the rewards and the benefits. If it's a negative one and people are coming after him for it, he's like, nope. Just like the auto pin situations and just like with the, oh, I didn't sign the Alien Act thing. Come on, I mean, that you can't make it more simple than that. Like it's right there, plain and simple. That's what he does. It's a half truth, and I'll leave it at that. Those are two good examples.
Let me throw something out because I think it's a little more than that. So I was listening to this economist speak today, and he made a really good point as far as like something that Donald Trump has been doing, and like a lot of people that are his surrogates are implementing the same ploy, where they stack two lies together, right? Side by side, a smaller lie and then a larger lie right behind it. And so you focus on the first lie, and you get so focused on the first lie that you don't focus on the second lie that's right behind it. And so you tend to actually accept the second lie as being the truth. And sometimes people accept both lies because they are hard to decipher since they're so close. But that is something that people do in debates as well. Like, right, if they don't have an actual point, then they do that and they connect those two so close. So that's something. Maddie, you wanted to reply.
Yeah, so I guess I'll just keep it real simple with my perspective. That he was going to deport illegal immigrants. He
Undocumented, my friend.
Sorry. Undocumented immigrants. He said he was going to tariff. He said he was going to get trans men. Is that how I say it, Santana?
Yeah, transgender people, but it's fine. Keep going.
Transgender people out of cisgender people sports. And those are the main things people voted for. He said he would open up oil industry. I don't know if you guys saw this. I have multiple sources. As of a couple days ago, crude oil went from the futures on the options with crude oil went from 75 to 65.
That's not good.
Okay, so gas coming down. Okay, we'll just see.
What happens when oil prices dip below $60 a barrel?
I know it dipped to like 65 or something, but I don't know. You can tell me that.
That's a really bad indicator. That's a bad thing.
What it tells me is that he is opening American energy like he said he would.
That's not it though, friend.
And another couple other things, just to finish within 15 seconds. He said my biggest thing that I like what he's working on right now is having proof of citizenship when you vote. That's a huge thing for me. And all these things he's doing, and that's exactly what us conservatives voted for, but yet you guys want to pick like the little things that only you people on the left want to like look at. We don't really care about any of that other than the big things that we wanted to see happen that he's getting done. So he's sticking to his promise for the people who voted for him.
Yeah. So the one thing that I will say for sure, excuse me. The one thing I will say for sure is that I actually agree with Maddie for the most part, and I've been saying this over and over and over. Donald Trump told people before he was elected what he was going to do, and with him doing that, it's actually like he said that he was going to do all the bad things, and there's a lot of people that didn't listen. And yeah, I mean, like, so I don't know, like, there's a lot of people saying, oh, I didn't think he would do this, I didn't think he would do that, or whatever. But yeah. Yeah, it's a whole thing. But also, I just want to call this out. There's a great article. I'll put this on the screen, and Maddie, you should read it whenever you have a moment. It's from Reuters talking about oil settles down at $1 for a 4-year low as U.S.-China trade war escalates. It's really good to actually go back through. It gives you a lot of great information, but there's one line that I really want to pull your attention to. The scenario has presented a case for a global recession where fears of energy demand declining have emerged. The reason why it's not a good thing, and it's a red flag, that oil prices dip below $60 a barrel. Like, yes, we want oil prices as low as possible, but once it gets under $60 a barrel, that's a negative key indicator that indicates that there's a global recession heading, not just a U.S. recession. So it's not a good thing.
Well, my question is this being triggered because of us opening up oil? Because if it is,
No.
then okay.
It's being triggered
fine.
because Donald Trump is escalating a trade war with China and with the rest of the world.
Okay. One last thing I want to say. People keep directly correlating the stock market with just the economy. I'd love to say that me going to the grocery store with egg prices a couple of years ago, and I hate to even bring up eggs because this bird flu, and somehow it's Trump's fault now that Biden executed all those chickens, but just groceries in general were up. That's another huge thing of the economy, along with gas prices. And like I said, most people that invest in the stock market, 80% are owned by the richest people on earth. So as long as everything else in the economy is doing well, grocery prices, housing prices, rent, all that, I mean, I just think there's an overreaction with 2 months into someone's presidency to say he's bankrupting America and ruining the economy. But obviously,
No,
the left
true.
can,
It's so true. You're so right.
yeah, obviously the left can say the same thing that, oh, if Biden did it, we'd be on his head about it, and it's probably true, but just a cyclical argument. And I mean, I don't want to rant anymore, but that's what it is.
Yep. Okay. So this is what I want to do because I gotta call Audible. Gotta call Audible. W's in the chat for Catherine, who sent a $10 super chat over on YouTube saying thank you for your clear, strong voice. I'm so glad you're out here fighting for all of us. I also appreciate that you are here here at night. By the way, Dinky. What is Dinky? Oh, Dinky is my favorite new name for President Destroyer. I'm not gonna say, yeah. W's in the chat for Catherine, who sent that $10 YouTube super chat. Also, massive W's in the chat for Kevin, who sent a $5 donation to go towards the nightly donation goal, saying, or Letty, who said, should have listened to Kamala and the 92%. Massive W's in the chat, guys. That means that we only have $205 left in the nightly donation goal. And if 205 people send $1, we can close it out. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all the pay links are in the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks 24. Best way to support the live. Everything is accepted. Anything is appreciated. Guys, I got to call a bit of a audible. Usually we go into the top of the hour, but we are gonna have to call it a little early tonight. So this is what I'm gonna do. Madam Jillian, you two have been up here for a while. I'm gonna drop you two down. And then I'm gonna open it up to the rest of the panel. But Madam and Jillian, thank you both for coming up and hanging out with me.
Thank you for allowing it. You have a wonderful day.
You as well.
Thank you, Santana. Maybe we'll talk about Obama soon.
Dang it, Jillian. Oh, come back tomorrow. Are you working
Okay, I
tomorrow
will.
night?
Tomorrow.
Okay, we'll start
Okay.
with that. Don't let me
Okay.
hold me accountable.
Okay.
All right. All right. So Jay Bird is Teacup, Rye Guy is Teacup. We got Zach, Chris, Omega, and then Maddie's still here. I'm just gonna open up the floor. What you guys got?
Well, first of
Hey,
all, I
what's
want.
up?
Oh,
Oh,
sorry. Go ahead. You
go
go
ahead,
ahead.
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
No, ladies.
Z-Pack. Oh, is Z-Pack not? Yeah, I'm sorry.
I,
That's
Did
what
you
I
hit
meant.
your money goal
said
tonight?
ladies. I said ladies first. I don't think she heard me, but
Yeah. Chris, floor is yours.
Oh, hey, thank you guys.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
It's a lot.
it's
It's been a lot.
yeah, it's been a whole lot, and it's been like so chaotic, and I was like, where do I start? Where do I end? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like wordless, but I'm hopeful, you know. I'm still hopeful. My husband ain't. My husband's like, he's like, let's get our documents. Let's get out of here. I'm like, no. Let's be hopeful because I see a lot of positives in this country. I know it's a lot of bull shit happening
Sugar
in this
honey iced tea.
country. Exactly. So I'm like, I understand where you're coming from. I totally get it. But me, you know, going through all the process that I went through and getting to this country, getting it the right way and being with him. And I'm like, I understand you're scared for me probably. He's more scared for me than him. Yeah, because I'm a light-skinned girl, like, you know, like maybe looking like because his mother literally called me like he thought I was Hispanic. I'm not. I'm Indian by origin. So I'm like, yeah, with the way this administration is, like, okay, I'm in trouble. I can't even get out of my house.
Yeah, it's funny because a lot of people are starting to feel that strain, and that's the one thing that I've kind of double back around. It's a lot of misconceptions when it comes to like, oh, someone looks this way or someone looks that way, and you should be able to tell, or where are your papers and all. Like the simple fact of the matter is, and this I was having this conversation with someone I believe last night or the night before, but when you start to take liberties and you start to infringe on other people's civil liberties, which is dangerous, right? Because it becomes a slippery slope where you do things like send American citizens to Guantanamo Bay, or they get caught up in ICE raids and all this other stuff. It's a whole thing. It's an absolute whole thing.
Yeah. And I live in a red state. I live in Missouri, so yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't get
Absolutely.
any better for me anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that's where we are at. And I'm like, I don't know. He keeps like I'm shutting him down. Like my husband, I'm like shutting him down. He's like, we gotta get our documents. We gotta get. I'm like, no. I'm gonna stay hopeful, even though I'm not even being like raised in this country. So I'm like, hey, we are hopeful. I'm staying
Absolutely.
hopeful, and
Abs
that's where I'm at. I'm like,
Yep.
I'm
No.
scared. I'm hopeful at the same time. I'll put it that way.
Absolutely,
I don't
absolutely.
know. I don't
Well,
know.
listen, I've said this a million times to you, and I truly mean this. We have
Yeah.
community, you have us, you're a part of our community, and we're gonna get through this together. I get your husband's position, but you let him know, like, hey, can't leave Santana. We got a community here, so
He listens to you too, by the way. That you're the first
hey,
person
W's
I
in the
told
chat for
you.
husband.
I told you, you're the first person we listened to on radio when we were waiting for Chinese food on the get-go.
I
Yeah.
know that's right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But hey, Chris, thank you for coming up and hanging out. I
Thank you
appreciate
for
you.
having me. Thank you for having me, Santana. I appreciate you. Thank you. Much
Absolutely,
love.
thank you.
Much love.
Much love. Guys, W's in the chat for Barbara, who sent a $5 donation to say prayers for the world. Thank you so much for that $5 donation, Barbara. And you're absolutely right. Listen, I would love to say prayers for the world, but we need a lot more than that right now. W's in the chat for Barbara for that $5 donation. Z-Pack, I apologize. Floor is yours, friend.
Well, what's up, man? Listen, I've seen you on Zeus's live. Zeus and I go way back. I got my
Mm-hmm.
start on Zeus.
Mm-hmm.
You've been carrying that program pretty well.
Listen, Zeus doesn't like to admit, and listen, don't tell. He's not watching right now because this is late nights and it's past his bedtime. But we all know who the most handsome is, right? We've done this one before. Like Zeus, he can have the other two. He is, humble. He is definitely, all the other stuff, but handsome.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead, Z-Pack.
Yeah. So normally I would do my parody of my Trump impression, but on a serious note, the grant funding cuts are actually hitting home personally for me, because my wife works in a what they call a grant funded research for native studies, and it's also like for native studies with Alzheimer's, right? So what they do is they go around and they educate across the country, and I've been on a couple of those trips, and these are classes, these are people that learn the information that they're studying, and these are real jobs that Donald Trump is coming after, all because of diversity. They had to scrub their emails. They scrubbed the emails and anything that's mentioned diversity, because they're afraid that grant will not be approved if there's just one word of diversity. And I think people don't realize how serious this is when it comes to, they say, well, that doesn't impact you. Well, of course it does. It impacts everyday Americans who have jobs, and rely on health insurance and things like that. So I just wanted to say, that's a real danger. That's a real, problem that's going to impact a lot of families and really take away um, livelihoods. And I think that it needs to be addressed more than it is. I think it is being circulated on this app, grant funding. But the whole idea that just because your grant funding mentions diversity or talks about, you know, LGBT, you're on the chopping block. That's wild. That's just wild.
Yeah, no, listen, I understand and I agree, right? I mean, I think that there's a lot of work being done, and I think there's such a wide brush or wide net that's being cast. No. There's a wide net that's being cast, and like it's really starting to get to the point where um you're really targeting it's super important things in history, or like in that people are dealing with in everyday, like it's in my opinion it's getting out of hand. Maddie, I would love to hear your perspective on that, speaking to like Z-Pack's personal situation, or how like they the graves of the soldiers, the black soldiers, they scrubbed the graves because it mentioned, them being black. Like the whole targeting of any type of thing that's considered to be woke or DEI or what, like you don't think that's going too far when you start to actually not only affect people's lives but rewrite the history, like actual war heroes history?
Scrubbing black graves. I don't see why we can't do that. So what's going on with that? What
Yeah,
is all this?
it's basically there's an overall initiative by the Trump administration to wipe anything that would be considered DEI, which is DEIA, but DEI or wokeness from all aspects of history, really. I mean, from targeting black pieces that were supposed to go into the Smithsonian to actually removing information about like the Tuskegee Airmen and just it's a whole thing. But
Is
it's
it federally funded through taxpayer money?
No, it's grant funded. It's
yeah,
grant.
but I mean, but even more, it's like it's actual history. It's like actual like people that
So
lived
are
and
they taking
unalive for
away
us.
are they taking my question is, are they taking away history with that two things. You can take away history by literally removing it, like removing like an object that's stuck in the ground for no reason, or you can take away history by removing jobs that cost money that are government funded. So that's two different things. Do I think we need to be paying for all this? You know, I'm all about equal rights and all that, but I don't think there should be grants to all these different subdivisions of people over some people who get no grants.
So here's the problem, Maddie. So these grants have already been
And
approved.
I'm sorry, I'm just not real educated on this, but I
Right,
can give
right.
you a
So
real good answer if you can tell me.
I mean, I can
Yeah,
definitely. I mean, and Santana has something up there if you want to
yeah.
say some of that.
Go ahead, Z-Pack, and I'll go next.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say like these grants are already approved. They've already been given. And so what they're doing is they're scrubbing them away because they're essentially, if anything mentions diversity or anything of that nature, they're getting rid of these grants. And so basically people's jobs are in limbo right now. They're just going to cut the grants, which is crazy. It's just crazy. Like nobody does that.
All right, this is where I'm not getting it. Cutting jobs, like, so are these jobs grant funded?
Yes. So people
Okay.
are working in a lab, let's say researching AIDS or researching Alzheimer's or things like that. And some of these grants go towards them traveling to explain their research. They stay in hotels across the country, Minneapolis, places like that, and people come there and they educate them, meaning students. And so, like sometimes those students that they bring in may be um, African American students because they want to get them involved maybe in science, and that's the whole premise of my wife's job. It's getting African Americans specifically interested in science, meaning that from a young age they're going to be brought into the field so they can get higher education in that regard. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. All right. So I'm kind of getting what can you guys hear me?
Yeah, yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm kind of getting what you're saying. Of course, there are going to be some things that I don't think they should take grants away from, but I would best believe that there's a lot of waste going on that. So I would have to see the particular grants. Another thing is, like, I don't know, like if you're really in for it for the to do better in society. A lot of people do stuff for free. Does it need to be federally funded by maybe someone who doesn't want to pay grants for a certain aspect of DEI or whatever?
DEIA, but you also do know that like grants are it's not just federally funded to pay the people, it's also federally funded to pay for what they're
Jobs
actually doing, right? I mean, it
Yeah. So
takes federal
to
funds
create more jobs, right?
no,
the
no, no, no.
grant.
No. It's specifically to and ZPAC you I don't know if he missed it when you were talking about like how your wife travels and does all of those other things, but it takes
Yeah,
money to
she
be able to actually
she
facilitate
travels. She
that.
travels to different universities,
Hmm.
and what
To
they do is
educate, um,
educate students from
okay,
all around the
primarily
country.
African American students.
Yes, and Native American and African
Well,
American.
my question would be, why are we spending money on that when they're already in college? Why wouldn't we spend it
Well,
on
the idea is
maybe
that the
kids
research is
who
being.
are not
I
already
got
in
you.
college?
I got you. So the research is being done in cities where research is done. Pittsburgh is one of the biggest cities when it comes to research in terms of like scientific research. And so that's where a lot of these grants are being slashed. They're in the news right now, Pittsburgh specifically. You have UPMC, the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center. So that is the grants are to those organizations through UPMC, and they're traveling across the country to educate these people, and not these people. I don't mean to say it like that, but educate the
Yeah, you
students.
good.
And so like what I'm trying to make the point of here is you're taking away educational opportunities, you're taking away livelihood, and you're taking away education.
That's probably where we disagree because those grants, it's not mutually exclusive. They can still get a degree in science. You might be taking away the motivation, extra motivation that you get for going in with these science grants. But there's still opportunity at that university to study
Yeah, but that
science.
university is the